Hey everyone, so a few months ago I put a video out going through a number of great PP filters, but the great thing with Assetto Corsa mods is there are so many more out there. So today I am going to do another PP filter roundup and comparison on performance and look, and you can see it all in this video. I am also going to be going through daytime, nighttime, and also how it looks in the rain and with wetness on the track, so you'll get a full comparison. I've also got a card to show you, and of course here we're at Port Newark, New Jersey by the Reboot team. So if you've not got this track, this is where we're going to be based today. 2.5 miles long and 42 pits. All the links are going to be in the description. So I always start with a car, and today is no different. And today we have this Porsche 911 GT3 Touring from 2018. The Porsche is by Binary Motors in Jerry Way. It's got 493 brake horsepower, 200 miles an hour and 3.9 seconds 0 to 60. Comes with 19 skins, and it's also got that great animation on the rear spoiler. The sound pack with this is the Script sound pack, and of course then it sounds gorgeous. There are a number of other updates on this car as well, including all of the interior, which looks fantastic. So again, support all the modders that you see today when you drop onto their page. All the mods that I'm featuring today are completely free. All the PP filters are free, and I'm going to go through some of the basics now to show you all the things you need to be looking for when you're putting these PP filters into your system. So here we are on my desktop, and I'm just going to pull up Content Manager so you can see what I'm doing here. So the first thing to do is go to Settings, Custom Shader Patch, About and Updates, and understand what version of CSP you've got on there. Obviously I've got the latest version of Pure Preview. Also then, if you're running the latest version of Content Manager, when you go to Weather Effects, Weather Style now has changed, and obviously if you're going to be putting pure PP filters in, use the pure default here. If you're going to be using Sol PP filters, make sure you're on Sol 1.5x. They are the weather styles. Today for most of the video I'm going to be running on pure. Also do check what PP filter you're starting with as well. There's a list in the Assetto Corsa and then under video settings, and I'm going to be starting with Sky GT, which I have covered in a number of videos, and it's on this video too as a good comparison start. Once you've got all those basics in place, we are almost ready to go. But remember, with the new Content Manager, if you don't know yet, when you're on the drive menu, if you click on the weather drop down box there, you've got your controllers. Make sure you're on Sol 2.4. That's if you're on pure or the latest version of Sol. It doesn't matter, make sure you're running Sol 2.4 there. If not, you'll get some weird effects on screen, maybe some black sky, all sorts of different things. Now the next thing to look at is how you're going to install the PP filter. So here I've got a number of them down at the bottom here. A lot of them you can just drag and drop into Content Manager, like I'm going to do here. So you just drag it into Content Manager and install it as a mod. But some of the modders that make these PP filters definitely say to actually do this in a different way. So you can also drag and drop them manually. So the improved lighting for pure one that I've just done there, you can also see that I've extracted it onto my desktop in that little mods folder that's next to that raw file. So now I've opened up my root directory for Assetto Corsa, and I've also opened up that mod folder that I've extracted. You can see improved lighting for pure there, version 8.12, and also then if I go into the mods folder in my root directory of Assetto Corsa, I can just drag those over, copy them over, whichever way you want to do that. Do just be careful that if you're right clicking and dragging over, you don't want to drag it into one of those other folders. That's a mistake you can make. So if you use your left button, you can just drag it over, and you can see that that's actually copied over there. So that's all done. So that's two ways to install the PP filter. Do check up on the download pages for the modders when you drop on those to see what the best way of doing that is. So let's jump onto the PP comparison, and one PP filter that many people know is Sky PP filter by STRIX. So this is the one I'm going to start with. It's one of my go-tos now. I use it for some of my video creation too. And to begin with, I'm going to put some render stats up, and I'm also going to put the PP selection box filter up there, so you can actually choose your different PP filters live. And if you don't know how to do that, just go over to your right hand menu, click on the four dots at the top, and you can choose that post processing filter app there. So if you've not checked this filter out, this is how it looks on my game. So I've got all my video settings on max, and again you can see those in a number of my videos where I do share them as well, and I've shared the link to that. But I think this looks fantastic. So if you've not used this filter before, do check it out. Again, all the links to the filters are going to be in the description below. Now this is the Sky GT version of Sky PP filter, but the next area I'm going to look at is improve lighting for Pure. This is one that a lot of you have raved about. It's now at 8.12 final, and it's by Valex07. Now you do get a number of different options here. So you do get ILP Candy, and you get a couple of versions of that, and you also then get a number of different versions. So do remember, on these PP filters, there's not normally just one version. There are now a number of different areas that you can look at. So this one, you obviously get a lot of value for this one small download, and these are all different looks and feels for Assetto Corsa. So let's just go through them. You can also see my render stats at the top left hand corner there. I'm on about 85 frames per second. But as I go through these, and certainly as I go into some of the night scenes and also the wet scenes, you will see that PP filter FPS actually drop, and that's really useful to know, because at night time it's using different reflections, and also with all of those wet reflections on the ground, that can have a pretty huge impact on what you're doing on the game. So here I am then, ILP natural now. I've just been through linear, and you can see that the frames per second stays pretty much identical. And the one I'm going to showcase, because the one I like the best, is ILP natural. Now the thing with post-processing filters is it all depends on how your eye is looking at it, how your monitor is set up. That's really important, and also how you've got the game graphics set up as well. All those things make an impact, but ultimately it comes down to what you like the best. So I am not saying any of these are right or wrong. I'm saying this is how they all look on my screen, and you can make your choices too, especially if you've not used any of these before. ILP Candy 2, I do like. It's quite vibrant, and some of the PP filters today do definitely give a very different look to Assetto Corsa. Certainly some cinematic and also some different glares and bloom on there as well. So the next one we're going to go to now is a filter that's just called One, and it's by Bentley. Unlike a number of the other filters that I'm featuring today, this just has one setting. So one setting for the PP filter called One, and here it is. Again, a very different look and feel. So let's take a look around the 911. It would be really interesting as well, guys, that in the comments today you tell me what filters you're using. And with this video and the other video, I've covered about 10 or 11 filters. If there's something that you're using that I'm not covering, do drop it in the comments, and I'll try and feature it on the channel very soon. I really like that PP filter, and I can understand why a lot of people are using it. But next up we're going to go to another one, and this is called Realism Redux Pure Filter. This is now at version 6.8. It was updated in March 2023, and this is by Engineer Gaming. Now with this filter you get so many different options that you can go through, so I'm going to go through a few of them now, and the first one here is called V6 Natural. Next up is V6 Cinema, and I think this is trying to create that cinematic feel. I really like this one actually, so I'm going to look around the 911 with this one. Again, look how different Assetto Corsa looks. So this is all live in game. I've not changed any other settings. I think it's pretty incredible just by these small changes to the ini file that is running all of these graphics. It makes such a big difference on the screen. This version of the PP filter I would probably use for screenshots, to be honest, but I'm not really seeing any performance difference either as well. Let's look at another one here. So we've got the bloom one, which is more bloom and glare. Again, looks very bright. That might be good for nighttime racing, especially if you like to do that. Let's see what else is on here too. We've also got what's this one? We've got contrast. So I don't know if this is trying to be kind of a pure candy version. I mean, pure candy, I'm going to show it at the end of this video, and I still think it's one of the best that you can get for pure, certainly. And let's have a look at the other one. I think we've got amber at the top as well that we've not run. So let's run that amber one and see how that looks. And again, a very different look with different tone maps completely. Now the next PP filter that we're going to look at is one called Pure Life PP filter, and this is for Pure and Soul, so you can choose, and this is by AMD. So Pure Life, you get a number of different areas here you can pick on. So let's just go through the main ones here. So this is the standard Pure Life version, a very natural set of colours there. I do like that, but let's see what the other options are. So let's just find it on this list. We've got Pure Life Evo, and we've also got Pure Life Evo GT. So this is the Evo version, more contrast there, a bit more of a deeper striking look. And let's have a look at the Evo GT. That's the third one down there. So that's more of a full GT look, and again a lot brighter. And all of these are personal preference. I like all of those, probably for different kinds of racing, but I do like all of those. So let's take a look around the Porsche. So I think they all look great, and this game is looking fantastic again. We all say after 10 years of being released, all the work that Peter and Ilya are doing is really bringing this to life, and obviously all the modders bringing these PP filters. But we did want to look at the wet performance too. So you will see here as I go through the different filters, you can see we've just done Sky GT, now we're doing ILP Candy 2. You'll see the performance stats at the top are changing, so I'm under 70 frames a second on most of these. This is 1. You can see all the reflections on the ground as well. I've got all the reflections on max. That is definitely going to have an impact in how the game runs. Here we have Realism Redux, and what a difference these PP filters are making. Obviously the sky is a little bit different with all of the different colours, but also the surrounding reflections as well. And again, this is Pure Life Evo, and the comparison with this one and the previous one is pretty dramatic. So depending on what kind of racing you are going to do, it might depend on what PP filter you want to run. And also you can change these depending how you want to play the game, because you can do it all live, as we know. So this is Sky GT at night time now, and again if you look at the frames per second, we've dropped down to 60 frames per second. That's pretty significant. This is ILP Candy 2, so I'm going to go through them in the same order as I did previously. That's looking pretty nice. Here you've got one a bit darker, there's less glare around the car. That's definitely distinct from the previous two. Next up is Realism Redux, and I've gone for the cinematic version again here. I do quite like that again for certain kinds of screenshots. I think that would work really well. And here we have Pure Life Evo. Quite subdued again, certainly not as bright as some of the previous PP filters. And then finally, I just thought I'd bring up Pure Candy. So I did talk about Pure Candy earlier. It's one of my go-tos again for video creation because it's so bright. I think it looks great. Peter's designed it. So there was the nighttime version of Pure Candy, and now we've got the daytime version. I still think this is one of the best looks and feels for Assetto Corsa for general racing, but again, it's all about your preference. And lastly, we're just going to flick back to Sky GT for the final comparison between Pure Candy and Sky GT, just so you can see that on the screen. Now, I have been talking about Pure here, but I'm going to just pop over to Soul. So I've changed all my settings, dropped into the game again, and now I'm on Soul. Now, the reason I've done this is because a lot of people are still talking about Horizon Shades, and this is the Sky version of that PP filter. This has been out for a couple of years. I did cover Horizon Shades about 2 years ago on my channel. This is by Master. It's still on Race Department. People are still using it. I think this looks great too. So I know I've been talking about Pure, which is obviously a Patreon download. If you just did want to do completely free, you can download Soul, you can download Horizon Shades and a number of these PP filters that do have Soul versions, and you can just run Assetto Corsa that way. So don't think you're beholden to Pure. You can move over to Soul. It looks just as good in lots of different ways, so it really is down to you. So that's the end of the video. Thank you so much for watching. I hope that's giving you some guidance if you're just getting into the world of PP filters, or there's someone here that you've not seen before. Do check out the rest of the channel, lots more sim racing on there. Remember my giveaway that finishes in a couple of days for my RTX 3080 card. The link is in the description, and do leave a comment on what PP filter you're using. See you soon, guys.